or you did not join last night, man, I had a blast. I have to say, I just had a blast last night. It was one of those spur of the moment type of energies, and an inspiration came to me and said, "You know what, Mama?" That's not what they say to me. That's what I say to myself. My inspiration said, "Hey, you, get off your ass, get online." I was doing readings, $10 for 10 minute, $10 10-minute readings last night. It was so awesome. Guess what I'm doing? I'm doing it again, Lexi. Because it's a weekend. It's a weekend. There is so much happening this weekend right now. And it's actually really getting back into the groove of the things that I do and not hiding, right? So that's the thing. I know there were people who sent, I think the thing is that if you send me $10, you got to let me know because I don't get notification of it. That's the thing. I used to get notification even from PayPal, but I'm not getting notification anymore. So let me know when you do so I know. So I can honor what you sent the money for, because I won't, a lot of times I don't know. Anyways, and if you are on Facebook, that's the other thing too, is because my Facebook people, they don't show you on here, and I have to hook up. So the thing is, in order for me to get my Facebook onto here, you have to go to the Guru Mama shop, which is my new business page. When I get enough subscribers onto the Guru Mama shop, and I get back up to my 1,000 subscribers that I had before, because you're out there somewhere, then I can bring you on to StreamYard and I will see your posts. If you're on my personal page, I do not see your post. I have to go back and forth, and I have to go into Facebook, and then I see see you. That's how I saw that Lisa and stuff were there. Otherwise, my YouTube page, go onto my YouTube page, like, subscribe, to my YouTube page. It's part of my growing my brand, if you will say. And that's what I want to start doing. I want to start growing and branding more. In order to grow and brand more, you got to, one, educate yourself and do the things and get out there and do all that kind of cray kind of stuff that some people think, oh, why are they doing that? It's because they're wanting to create a business. It's like, back in the day when you used to get flyers, people had to go door to door, order 1,000 flyers, send them out, or get posters and do things like that, do all of these seminars and markets and everything else. Because if you don't, then you don't know that person exists. You don't, that's the thing. You got to, doesn't matter what business that you have, if you're wanting it to grow, you got to get out there. And in today's world, the best way to get out there, it is through social media, because that is the quickest way to connect people and come into connection. So that's that's the thing. It's a tool to be utilized, and that we need to utilize these tools in order for us to grow more of a community and do more of a connection with the people around the world. So let's get into some of this energy first. And then if you are wanting to get a reading, it's $10, 10 minutes or so. And I will just start pulling cards and doing my thing that I do. Couple things. We got a lot of things that are going on. I'm going to send a lot of love and positive vibrations to Morocco. They had a 6.5 earthquake that is happening. We have, I think, 2 category 5 hurricanes off the coast of Florida. God bless my people in Florida, sending you lots of vibrations and all along the eastern coast. And the people in Hawaii are still, figuring out things there, and to everybody going back home into Yellowknife. Whew, crazy. And to all those who were at Burning Man. Now, that's the other thing. Burning Man, sending you guys out a lot of positive vibes. I think mostly everybody's out of there, but all of the crazy things that I heard about that. I saw a girl on TikTok saying, oh, there's Ebola. Look. And then, because I knew I had a friend who knew a friend who was there, and I had a couple other people who knew people who were there who are burners. They call them burners. People who die hard burners were like, yeah, they try to show up. And I'm like, well, how did they get in? If nobody can get out, how can they get in? That doesn't make any sense. And then all of this stuff. So again, all of the cray propaganda that's coming out that is trying to break you apart, break you, so you don't come together in community. And it's backfiring. It's backfiring. People come together when there's a disaster. It's been a proven fact. When things go crazy, it is amazing how we automatically come together as a community, and we work together, and we want to help everybody and make sure that people have what they need. So things that are going on right now, and I just want to do a little bit of newsy news for you, is that things to be what's going on. Okay, because the moon's in Cancer. It is squaring Chiron. So there's a lot of little bleeding heart energy that's out there right now. A lot of people like, oh, woohoo, because, that Cancer energy can come in. And I have a Cancer moon, a Cancer rising. So this energy can come in, and it can really bring in some craziness of feeling wounded and feeling sad for ourselves and downtrodden. But we don't want, the thing is, we have 1 week left. 1 week left. Jillian sent me a meme, and it was so hilarious, about a guy talking about Mercury and Mercury retrograde. How much longer? I can't stand with Mercury being in the microwave. It's quite hilarious. Anyways, we have 1 week left of this retrograde, and we'll still have 5 planets retrograde till the end of September. But this is really a weekend, not to get into the craziness of all the retrogrades. It is a weekend of Virgos. You're going to love this. It's a weekend of organization, organizing, getting things organized, doing the things that, maybe I just saw to Charlene, maybe you've been going to the cabin every weekend or out camping every weekend. Time to clean the camper. Time to clean it from top to bottom, take everything out, dust it, get all the sand out. It's one of those, it's that type of weekend. Maybe it's, oh, I gotta, I just haven't done anything in my kitchen because I've been so busy all summer. Maybe it's time to reorganize the kitchen and do your inventory list of what you have in your kitchen, what you need to resupply on within your kitchen. So you might, this is where you start looking, and this is a weekend to get it done, because you're going to find that as we go into the week, it's going to get a little bit stressful. And having those little things really help you to feel more in aligned with what it is that you need to do. Makes you feel more in to grips, makes you feel more, yes, I got this done. Now I feel a lot better. Yesterday, I dusted everything. Our little place gets very dusty. So I went around and I dusted and, and just reorganized a few things. I think there's a few more things that I want to organize and stuff. But that's the gist of sort of the energies that are coming in and the things that we need to be looking at. Now, a couple other things that I've been looking at too with the astrology that makes it so different than what happened per se in 2008, and a lot of things that are different. Yes, we do have the housing crash, and we do have interest rates and stuff going up and things like that. But a lot of things that we're having that are different now, that are coming into as a issue, is the dollar crashing or the money crashing, and wanting to bring in the CBDC, which is the digital dollar that the banks want to the government wants to bring in. And that's the other part that you're going to start hearing over the next several weeks. You're going to start hearing little tidbits on how the CBDC is really a great thing to have. And so you're going to start hearing this more and more and more. And what does that mean to you? That means it's just, okay, some things, it's like when they instituted, I guess so. When they brought in the GST, they made it sound, oh my God, because 5% on everything across Canada, right? It's only going to be here for a short time. Yeah, right. So we know that when they're going to bring something in and they say it's going to be for a short time, or we're just trying to do this to make things easier for you, we know that's not it's coming, whether we like it or not. And this is where we start being prepared. Not saying that they can get rid of all money, and the having, having the tangible, but they're going to try their darndest, and you're going to start seeing it more and more. And especially during the Christmas season, they are going to be really pushing this. And you can see it within the astrology. You can see that, especially with Uranus in Taurus, makes a difference. It talks about, your personal finances and the money and how it's done. And your 8th house comes in to how you are how you are earning that money, and how you are distributing your money. And the thing is that when we have that energy that's coming in, it's wanting us to start to be aware of, where's our money dispersing? What are we doing with our money? How are we creating that money? And it's really interesting, because if you look at what your 8th house is, then you find the ruler of that 8th house. So say my 8th house is partially, it's Capricorn. I got a lot of Capricorn in my 8th house. And the ruler of the 8th house is Scorpio. Okay, so Scorpio, I got to find out where my Mars is. My Mars is in Sagittarius, which is in the 6th house. Bear with me with this, guys. It's in the 6th house. And the ruler of Capricorn is in my Aquarius. My Aquarius is in the 9th house. So I'm looking at, okay, what's the ruler of the 9th house? Well, okay, what's the ruler of the 9th house? Is Sagittarius. So I got to go back to Sagittarius. My Sagittarius, I have to look at what my Jupiter is, and where's my Jupiter as I go into my Jupiter, my 6th house. And my 6th house is also, when I look at what the ruler of the 6th house. So I start to look at all of this energy that's happening. I'm like, I got to really focus on this Jupiter energy, because Jupiter is really coming in strong on how I can expand, how I can connect and create, and how is that connection and creation I'm doing within my life. And that's what we start to do. We start to look at that. And when I look at that energy that's coming in, and look at what's happening, and I see my Jupiter is in Aries. Aries brings in that spark, that initiative, and getting things sparked and getting things going. And my Jupiter just happens to be retrograde, and Jupiter's retrograde right now. So this is, when you see that connection, you see that fine tuning, you start to say, yeah, this really is a great time for growth and expansion and getting things started, even though it's retrograde. Hey, Roxy, leave her alone. The cat's going to beat up the dog, even though it's retrograde, even though, for others. So it's really important to know these things in your chart, and then you can start to take a look at it and see, okay, so this is, the sun's just coming off a trine with Jupiter, and it's going to be starting to trine with Uranus. How is that affecting you within your life? That means, how are you allowing that growth and prosperity to happen within your life? And how are you creating your happy generator energy within the energies that are happening right now? Hopefully that makes sense. I know it sounds like a lot, but when you start to it's like finding the dots and putting things together. And when you start putting all of that together, you start to really see, how can I step into my life and really live to the full abundance that is there? Yes, we have the transiting energy right now. It's saying not to get emotionally worked up with things. We still have to get things done. Pluto is in Capricorn. That's affecting all of us. That's affecting, how we are doing. We still have to pay our bills. We still have to clean the house. We still have to do all of these. But what is the energy that you're putting towards it in order to create it, to make it a happy thing? So you're not getting so down and downtrodden with it. Okay. So on that note, remember, I did 10-minute readings, and I just loved it last night. I took me a long time to get to sleep last night. Then I dreamt of Libras, a whole Libra family. It was really weird, but they were very happy. Then we were a very happy family, and going around creating and bringing people together and things like that. So it's just like kind of nutty. Anyways, I have weird dreams. So I know I did Corona yesterday, and I did, Karen yesterday, and I did Shar yesterday. I thank you guys for being supportive to me. Thank you. You know what it did for me? This is because I'm, on a limited. Hey, Roxy, get over here. I don't know what he's doing to the cat, but she's just weird. Anyways, I being limited to a lot of things at this time, you were able to pay for my StreamYard last night because the payment was due. And I was wondering how I was going to pay for it. And thank you very much, because I'm here today to be able to still do what I do. So that's what happens, when I'm doing these things. Sometimes it feels like, people say, "Oh, you're begging for." It's not begging for money. It's this is my store. This is my thing. This is my, if I, trying to get things together. So right now I'm thinking of Lexi, and doing a reading for Lexi because she was so sad she missed out yesterday. I'm pulling you in, Lexi. So a card jumped out. Came out, and it's the Nine of Michaels. The Nine of Michaels is the Nine of Swords. So think of what the Nine of Swords is. The Nine of Swords is when you in the typical tarot, is the person sitting on a bed and all of these swords are going through them. They're overthinking. There's something like you're really overthinking. You're worrying unnecessary. There's an unnecessary worry that you're having within yourself right now. And I feel, even though things are coming together, right? Things are coming together. Things are moving in an alignment for you at this time. Well, almost lost everything here. Let me see. Things are coming into an alignment for you at this time. I feel, and I'm just, because I have access to things on Lexi. I want to, because it does. And I think that's the other thing that comes into the financial thing. And so, okay. So you have, within your 8th house is a little bit of Sag and a little bit of Capricorn. So we're going to go more with the Capricorn energy and the Capricorn in that 8th house. So where is your Mars? Your Mars is coming in, and your Mars, where's your Mars? Your Mars is in Aquarius in the 10th house. So it's like you really have to, whatever you're doing right now, it has to be inspirational. It has to give you that drive, but it also has to bring in community. So if you're working right now to earn your living and earn what you want to do, and it feels very, you're not getting that community from what it is that you are doing. And where your Uranus is in Libra, you got to have a balance with that. That of what you do has to be of service, because it's in the Libra house. The Libra house is ruled by Venus, and your Venus is in Taurus, in the Taurus of the 12th house. So there's a lot of deep energy that's coming in for you at this time, right? So there's a lot of deep energy that's coming forward. And this deep energy that's coming forward, it means is that what you want is like, it has to be of service, but there has to be a really connection of the heart in whatever you do. And right now you're just worrying whether you're not getting it, or you're not getting that connection of what it is that you want in your life. And it feels very aloof. There's also in this, it looks like a boop, 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 boop. So we got like a hawk, I'm gonna say, in this picture. And we have this, we have the energies of Michael coming forth, but you got to start listening to the messages that are coming in when you are in quiet, when you are sitting, right? And this is where, again, okay, we got double nines coming in. So something in your life, something there is coming to an ending. And it worries you. And I don't know if it's your job, because you just started a new job, because I know you mentioned that a while ago, that you were starting a new job. And I think that was coming up. But this is where it's also talking about dreams, because this is about your mundane world. What is it that you're worried about within this mundane world, with what you have? Because Venus is coming in and saying there's something there that is not connecting, and you're hiding it. You're hiding your heart, because your Venus is in your 12th house. And this is saying, I'm hiding something. There's something I'm hiding that isn't of my true value and what my truth is, right? And if you're hiding that of what your true value, which is Taurus, and Venus is in Taurus, that That's the ruler. You got to follow your heart and what you are doing, and your truth with what you are doing. Because if you're not following that, it causes a disruption when it comes into your service. It causes that disruption of what it is that you are trying to connect with. And that can bring in, see, the king comes in, but he's reversed. And the king, he is the Midas touch. He wants to bring in a lot of the beauty and a lot of things that you want. But it feels like some things aren't working the way that you want it to work, but you feel your thoughts are going back like, I have to do this. I have to stay with this. But there's something there that is not allowing you to really come into that true connection, because you're not living, or you're not doing things to the fullness of what you love. And the thing is that when Venus is at home in Taurus, and the thing is, the 12th house is ruled by Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. This is coming into your spirituality. What are you not doing for yourself spiritually, and coming into the fullness for yourself spiritually? Because there's a spiritual void that's coming in with everything, and your spiritual void that's coming in, especially with Neptune, who it's just it's conjunct your DC. So what is it that is that connection, or that fear of connecting with that of your divine, with that of your dreams, that you need to hold yourself accountable? We're going back into the Sag house, which is Jupiter, and Jupiter wants you to come into your expansion of you, and your expansion is coming into Sag again, and it's conjunct with Neptune. So you have to come into your truth of your spirituality, and holding yourself accountable in that, and coming into that. And that's going to allow for you to expand, because Jupiter conjunct Neptune is huge. That's especially in when it comes to being in Sag. He is the ruler of Sagittarius. He wants, that's why we have Sag before Christmas, because otherwise you'd get fucking boring presents. If it was in Capricorn, we'd get very practical things. We wouldn't get the little reindeer that poops, jelly beans. You wouldn't get the fun things. And that's the thing, is that you got to come in and come back to the fun in your life, and bringing that fun into your life, and bringing that fun into your life is going to allow for you to have that success. Even within the mundane, you got to come into it and bring in the fun, bring in that, because you're not bringing in the fun. Whoo, the Queen of I don't give a shit is reversed. You're not stepping into your passion. You're not stepping into your passion. Your passion is, and when your passion is, that means you are not stepping into that of what it is that you need to step into. So stepping into your passion is very, very important. Okay. Very important. And Rima, I see you. Hello. There you go. Up offline for the day now. Okay. Rima, I will get to you. I will get to you, girl. I will. Love you. But this is where coming into that truth, coming into that alignment for self is so important for you right now. And in doing that, I'm going to pull one more card for you. In doing that, in order for you to find the celebration in your life, you can't be resistant to the change. That means trying to do something different. Don't be resistant to the change. You're a mutable sign. You're Gemini. You're air. You guys change all the fucking time, and moving all the time, right? And that's the beauty of it. It's like, do not be afraid. Oops. M-A-M-A. So my email is thegurumama@gmail.com. TheGurumama at gmail.com. So coming into we're going to just coming into that beauty of you is there we go. So I put it down at the bottom. Um trying to do muggle work and in a spiritual mode is really like but this is where you got to come into and allow yourself to and okay, and it's saying how you save and how you spend, so we're coming down to the money part. I think part of your passion is that you've been trying to be squeaky clean. You're not allowing yourself to have fun. Having fun could be anything. Could be getting your nails done, go get your hair done, go to Sephora and buy a new lipstick. I don't care. Like something that is enjoyable. It sounds simple and it sounds frivolous, but that simplicity and that frivolousness is the things that can grow into the passion. And that's for all of us, right? That's for all of us. So you might think something is, oh, I can't do this, but there might be a really cool nail polish, and I see like I want to get that orange nail polish. That's bringing back the fun. I used to watch a show years ago, and I think some of you might know it. It's called Coronation Street. It's not really a soap opera, okay? I don't care what anybody says, but that's what I grew up to believe. It wasn't a soap opera, even though it is. They call it the longest running soap opera in the world. Anyway, it's Coronation Street. It's English, and Beth used to run the bar. Beth, I think it's Beth or Bev used to run the bar. Now she was a boisterous, beautiful woman with hair and everything else, right? So she had this crazy hair, and blonde hair was up, but she wore these crazy earrings. And the reason I'm bringing it up because she did that because that was her passion and that's what she loved to do. And in bringing in that passion and doing the things that you love to do is allowing for you to step more into the passion of the things, even though you were in a muggle job that seems to be boring right now. But the boring job is going to allow for you to start to integrate more of the passion into your life and the things, and making time for it. Making time for it is the most important thing. So there you go. Maybe a forecast for the next 6 months or the rest of the year. Okay, Rima. So that's I just love it. I just love it. I love it when I have people's charts, and when I have people's charts, because then I can that sort of helps me to pull things up for people and look at things. So looking at, and I think because Rima had to run away, so you'll have this as a recording, and this is going to be the easiest way because I'm in the flow and I'm going to just do it now. So I'm going to start with your second house, which is Capricorn, and your eighth house is Cancer. So we have Cancer and Cancer moon. So the moon is in your sign. So when the moon is in your sign, that means everything that you are doing and anything that you do is very emotional. So you got to look at the emotion that you have, the emotions that are going on within your life at this time, because it's very prevalent in how you are creating your abundance, right? And the eighth house is ruled by Scorpio, and you are a Scorpio. Your Scorpio is in the 12th and in the first house. Your sun is in the first house. Right? It's in Scorpio, but it's in the first house. So when I look at that and I look at where Scorpio is in, because I don't use whole houses. I look at that and I zone in and I'm like, holy shit. Okay. Your Mars is also in the first house. So this has got to be your drive. Your first house is also ruled by Aries. So what is that drive and spark that you need, especially over the next coming months? How is that drive and spark going to inspire you? And it has to be an inspiration. It has to come from an internal inspiration. If it's not coming from something internal, if it's not coming from that, you're going to find that whatever, it depletes you and within that depleting energy. So especially when we have so many so many retrogrades right now, and so much energy that's there. And you're also born with a Venus retrograde, which is rare because Venus retrogrades every 18 months. So having a Venus retrograde means diving deep into your truth and allowing yourself to shine. But it's in your 12th house, which is Pisces, and Pisces comes in and it's your 7th house of relationships. So sometimes that Venus, when it comes in with your 7th house, wow, you've really come in to really take the hard knocks when it comes to relationships and learning how to deal with relationships. And the relationships that you have to have a very deep, deep energy within them, because it is the Libra house. It is a house of connection, and it's a house that allows for that to happen. And it's, you have Pisces there, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune. And when you have that Neptune energy coming in, we go back to your first house. Neptune coming into your first house, that means how am I showing my truth and my spirituality within the dynamics of who I am? And that dynamics of who I am, I have to hold myself accountable, because it's in Sag is there. It's saying, how can I hold myself accountable? Because I want to expand in the truth of myself. Staying in my truth is so important, because if you're not staying into your truth, you're going to find, especially dealing with a Venus born with a Venus retrograde, you're going to find it very difficult, especially over the next few months. So this, whatever aspirations and things that came to you over the last 40 days with Venus retrograde is going to be really helpful for you in going forward, and in really, putting the things down that you need to put down. Because, when I look for where Jupiter is, it's in your Leo house. Jupiter wants to expand. Jupiter wants to make those connections, and it's your 9th house. This means going back to Sag. So we're going back to Sag. We're going back to how am I having the fun and inspiration? I got to have the spark. I got to have the inspiration. It's got to bring you something of substance. If it's not, Rima, if it's not bringing you something of substance, it's crap. And over the next 6 months, that's what you're going to be finding. What am I going to be doing over the next 6 months that's going to find myself within that, within that expansion? And especially when we look at the transits that are happening, with that, within where Taurus is, which is your 6th and 7th house. How am I being of service and taking care of not only myself, but the people around? But really, you got to be taking care of yourself over the next 6 months. You got to take care of who you are, take care of how you, are eating, exercises, making sure that you're getting you need a checkup. You got to look into your checkup, because there's something to do when I go back into where your moon is and stuff. So there's something to do with bones and inflammation with bones. So you got to make sure that you are either getting your magnesium and your, all the fun stuff that you need for your bones. Can't think right now. But then I go back into, where Venus is, and with, so I have something down with, Scorpio, and Scorpio has to do with the lower bowels and things like that. So if you've been having any intestinal issues, definitely making sure that you are checking all of that out, because Taurus might make it a little bit difficult in those areas for yourself. So I got health things that you got to really start checking out. So health is really coming in for you, Rima. Make sure you check out that health areas. It's vitally important for you to be checking out health is important right now. Thank you, Lexi. But health is important right now, and I'm getting a huge boom, 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 like sort of this energy coming in and talking about health. Nothing that it's bad, but it's like looking at what it is that you need to look at for oneself. So with that, we got the King of Gabriel. So in comes fire and passion. So there's fire and passion that comes in, but you got to keep your eye on, okay, what is it that I need to do? Because the King of Gabriel, which is the King of the Wands, is married to the Queen of I don't give a shit. And he comes in, I don't give a shit either, because I got to go with my passion. The thing is that you do have to give a shit when it comes to oneself. You can't just push it aside or not acknowledge what you need to acknowledge, because peace is coming in. So there's things to do with how am I How am I got to release past. I got to let go. What am I hanging on to? Because the king is saying it's almost like spiritual bypassing. You can't be spiritual bypassing right now because, and saying, oh yeah, that's all part of life. That is karma and all that kind of, fluffy bullshit. It's like, no, hang on. What is going on? I need to take that responsibility in what's going on for me. So I'm able to enrich myself more. I'm able to do more of what I need to do. So if I need to start taking the proper vitamins and minerals and everything that I need to take, it's going to enrich myself even more. I'm going to be able to enrich myself even more, and enriching myself even more, I'm going to be making decisions. So there's decisions that are going to be happening. So if we're looking at what's going to be happening, especially because you're coming up to your birthday in the next couple months, you got to look at, what do I need to do to enrich myself? What do I need to do to enhance what it is? And it comes in with a detoxification. How am I detoxing my life? Detoxing your life could be anything from social media, except for me, just by the way, except for me, social media. It could be detoxing, and I got something to do with an intestinal detox. So you might be doing some kind of cleansing, and I got chlorophyll, chlora. So it's green, it's like spirulina. So something with spirulina, something with algae, something, and it's green, it's blue green algae, something to do with blue green algae. Thank you. So coming in and helping that to really cleanse yourself and doing that cleansing. And in doing that cleansing, it's going to bring you what it is that you need. She rules with Venus. Venus is the heart. The heart is coming in. So dealing with what is true to your heart and coming in is going to create that abundance. It's going to allow for you to have that inspiration to do what you want to do. The one thing I have to say, when you have, especially Scorpio in the 12th house, there's a lot coming in that you've come in here to learn, because not only is the 12th house the karmic house, it's the ending, but it's also when Mars, especially when Scorpio comes into that house, there's a lot here that you are carrying to learn in this lifetime and carrying that on. And there is, especially with Venus coming in, being retrograde, it's coming into learning of what is my true of truths. And that's even, says she's retrograde. That means when you're working with relationships and trying to make those work, sometimes they just don't work out. You're not here to have, you're here to have the relationships that are deep and meaningful, that have always been there. But a lot of times when you're starting, new things or new connections, they don't work out because of that Venus retrograde. But having them start with the Venus retrograde, you're one of the few that when things have started during Venus retrograde, they're long lasting. With other people, they're not. They're not. It's like my daughter who started, oh, look at this guy. What do you think of this guy? Because she's back on the dating scene. I'm like, honey, they ain't going to work. Venus is retrograde. And then she rolls her eyes at me. But because mama knows they ain't going to work. They're not going to work. But for you, it's different. And you also have that where your Uranus is in there too. So you're born with that Uranus energy in Scorpio. That means you got to do things uniquely. You got to come into your uniqueness and how you are allowing yourself spiritually. You're not going to do something spiritually that is ordinary. So your spirituality is not that of the ordinary, mundane, religious person. It's either, the thing is that with it being there, you could have gone to many different extremes, where you could have gone into the extreme of being the Buddhist monk or the cloistered nun, because that's the extreme of having that, to being that of on the opposite side and going into the deep realms of the spirituality and the depths of your spirituality. That's your core. That's what your core energy is. And you've come in to be of service. Your jobs have to be of service. If your jobs aren't coming in to be of service for you, it's going to be a difficult one. It's going to be a difficult one. And, because, even with the 10th house, being Capricorn, it's got to have the structure, and it's got to have the structure of money. even though you don't want to think about money or things, but you have to have that structure of a job or structure of what's been coming into you that brings you the fundamentals of support and having that internal support. If you're not having that internal support, especially, I think that's part of the worry right now. If you're not feeling that support because of the Cancer energy with that moon there, it is where you have to look at alternative ways in creating your abundance in the uniqueness of your own self when it comes to, and I know I'm pointing at her chart. I don't want to pull her chart up on a public forum because that's not, no. I just don't do that unless I have, permission from the person. But this is, coming into that truth of who you are, coming into that truth. And I know people hear psychics say that, oh, come into the truth of who you are. But coming into the truth, that means speaking that of your spiritual self. And I'm going to pull another card. Yeah. It's like looking at the possibilities, because there is magic in life, but the Four of Cups is not the Four of Cups is the one is like, I wanted to have it this way, but anything you do isn't the way you think it should be. It's something else that the hand of God is giving you. It's something else that is coming in that's bringing it in. So be aware of how you're feeling about things. Be aware and allow yourself to really trust in your intuition, especially over the next several months, because we're going to go back to the shit that's going to be happening, is that things that are happening that didn't happen before in the last crash in 2008 were high inflations when it comes to food, energy, all energy. It's not just oil and gas. It's all energy is on the rise. Our commodities are on the rise to a point where it is going to be difficult for people to buy these things in the next several months. People are going to be going for either I can remember back in the day when I was a kid in the 70s, I got tired of beans and tomatoes and a beef mom would cut up very thinly and stuff like that. But actually, when I think about it now, it's just like, that's so good because it's soothing, and homemade bread. These are, coming back to the basics and the practicalities that need to be happening at this time. So for you, my love, this is really a big thing, and this is really something that needing to look at. So hopefully I answered your questions there. So let me see. I can't. Okay, I'm not sure. If you are on, I'm going to say, if you are on my Facebook page, Mary June Trace, Mary June Steve, if you're on my face, just message me. Send me a quick message if you are looking at a reading or wanting a reading. So let's just, until that, because I know a lot of you were here last night. Thank you. Gaia Luna Wellness. Hello, hello, hello. I don't know if you're still here. I'm going to wave at you. Wave at you. Did I wave? There we go. I waved at you. Not sure if you're still there, but sending you love and blessings. So with the energies that we are looking at right now, we are looking at a lot of where it's a lot of muggle energy that's coming in for us to do a lot of muggle stuff, right? And we have to look at those things that have to be done and things that have to get done. Valerie. Hey, Val, thank you. All right. And you're here. Thank you for sending me a notice. You sent it last night. Wow. Gotta love Valerie. I love Val. You know what, you guys? She is another beautiful psychic. Valerie Matlock. Just love her. She lives in Edmonton, but she's from my second home, Manville. But sending you out so much love. Well, Val, she's a little prepper too. I think you need to start doing some videos on how you prep and how you do things. I really think that would be, because you have a lot of knowledge, and I think you've been persecuted a lot. I've seen that. Where there's been somewhat of a lot of persecutions and in your life. I think people, attacking you or going after you. But let's take a look at your second and your eighth house right now. So we got your second house right now is Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Mars is coming in. So when Mars is coming in, Mars is looking into your Leo house. So really, and it's your 11th house. So how it's very important. The groups that you are in and the people that you are around have to be a heart-centered energy. And especially with having, Venus is there actually, but your Mars is in Cancer. Sorry, got my Mars and my Venus mixed up. But with your Mars being in Cancer and your Cancer is in your 10th house, the thing is that when it comes to, and your sun's there and you're born, you're born under a waxing moon. So you got, you're born right after a new moon. Like it's not long after a new moon you were born. So you're born under this energy, especially in that Cancer energy in your 10th house, of what you are doing has to be of communication, but forthright. But there's a strong energy of Mars, and Mars coming in. Mars isn't really happy in Cancer because it's trying to get things done, wanting to go forward and get things done. But you're stuck in wanting to do things practical and stay in that practicality. But we have an energy that's coming in that's trying to pull you out of what the so-called practicality is in order for you to be able to shine more of who you are. You were born, it's like the new moon came in for this new beginning, and then in started it becoming the waxing. In started the growth. That means you are in this lifetime to learn the new growth of life and stepping into that new growth of life. And being in the 10th house, being that of the 10th house, your ruler, you got a ruling energy of Saturn, and Saturn sits in your Taurus house, which is in your 8th house, which is how am I creating my abundance? How am I doing it? It has to be something sustainable. It's nice that I can say to be pulled out and go into the spiritual realm, but if it isn't giving me that practicality that I need, which comes into my Venus house, which comes into to where it is in Leo, and my Leo's in the sun, and the sun is in the 10th house, I have to make sure that I'm in alignment with what I do. It's so where right now I feel like there's so much being torn apart for you, so many things that aren't connecting for you, and your North Node is coming into Pisces, and Pisces is in your 6th house. That means when it comes to your spirituality and your alignment, you have to, whatever your alignment for your spirituality has to be of service. That service energy comes in very strongly because Neptune, when I see Neptune coming forth for you, it is in your 3rd house. How am I communicating? And it's in Scorpio. It's at the end of Scorpio in your 3rd house. So this is how am I communicating my spirituality to the world? And I have to, in order for me to create that spirituality, because spirit is very strong here. And especially over the next several months, you're going to find more of a pull to your spiritual side and doing your spirituality than ever before. If you're not pulling in that spiritual self, you're not pulling in that spiritual part of you, you're going to find that it's going to cause havoc when it comes to Cancer. Cancer can be that internal energy. What is that havoc that I'm having internally within my own self? How am I not allowing myself to shine? Because when we do look at the transits and that are coming in, especially when we look at Taurus in the 8th, we have Jupiter and Uranus there, or Jupiter and Uranus there. And they're wanting to create something new and invigorating, but you have your Saturn there, and your Saturn is trying, and Saturn Uranus is breaking away from old traditions, old ways of doing things. But it's like the Saturn wants to pull you down and saying, well, I still have to have that traditional way. Yet you have an opposition with that Saturn opposite into your Neptune, and the Neptune Saturn opposition is saying, but I need to step in that I can't do the old ways. I got to do new ways, and I got to do new ways of exploring who I am and trusting the truth of my own intuition in doing that. So that could be you being the teacher. You're doing the one who's getting out there and showing others how to do it. You don't need to take any more classes. You got it, but it's trusting that you have it, because you second guess yourself because of that Cancerian energy, where it's like, oh, I might be a fraud. I'm not doing this right, or I'm not, fully fully myself. And you do have Mercury there, and Mercury wants to communicate this out, wants you to be a communicator. And that communicator within that Cancer 10th house means you're going to communicate in a loving, caring way. You're going to communicate in a way that brings forth that mother spirit, that mother energy. So you're going to come in with this energy within the goddess, and having that goddess energy is going to allow for you to really explode in a way that you haven't yet done. So there's an energy that's coming in that's saying that you really have to step into that explosion within your own self and look at what that is. And I got to pull this card here. Everything is going to be fulfilled. So we got the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles comes in saying everything is going to be fulfilled for you. Everything is going to come together for you. And it's going to come in different ways. And it's trusting in that motherly energy that's coming forth and allowing for you to shine. Yeah, the sun doesn't want to be in Cancer. It doesn't like it. It wants to be across the street. Right? It wants to be in the Leo house. It'd rather be somewhere other than Cancer. But the moon is there. So the moon is accelerating. The moon is coming in. So we have two energies that are in detriment in your sign in the 10th house, and that's the sun and that's Mars. And this is where it's like almost where I feel like there's a compulsion of, fuck it, I just have to do this, or this is what I'm supposed to be doing because it's a Muggle world, and in the Muggle world, this is what I'm supposed to do, right? But there is such an energy of transformation that's coming forth for you, coming forth for you at this time. That you have to really trust in it, and in trusting in it brings you that new beginning. So there's a new beginning that's coming in. You're coming out of that darkness, and that darkness is going to allow for you to be seen. Okay, you're coming out of those coffins. You're coming out of the darkness, and you're being led by the truth of your spirit in all of this, and things are going to come together for you in a very beautiful, loving way, and it's a new beginning. So you are starting truly on a new beginning over these next several months, and trusting in that new beginning. And it is a spiritual one, but it's a spiritual one that you are going to be the teacher, and coming in, whether you're teaching classes, doing angel classes, teaching, intuition, or whatever it is, you're going to start bringing it in. It could also be bringing in the teaching with what you show on Facebook. When you show, look at, I did all this salsa. I remember one year that you did, I don't know how many, I think it looked like 300 cans of salsa that you did. But all of that you are doing and creating is that connection with Mother Earth. So bring that connection with that Mother Earth, bring in the energies of Gaia. What is Gaia? Gaia is a Greek goddess. Greek goddess was married to Uranus. Uranus was an asshole to her. So that's where that's where Saturn came in, cut his father's balls off, which is Uranus, fed them to the sea in the birth of Venus. And bringing in that birth of Venus is coming out of the waves, coming out of the froth of the ocean. So allowing for that newness that is something tragic and horrible is going to come and bring you something, a beauty, bring you something of substance, especially with that Venus being in Leo, and that Leo energy coming in for you to be there of heart. And in being of heart, trust your intuition in all of this.
Unknown caller.
Trust in that intuition that you have. Trust in that alignment that you have. Sorry, a phone call was coming in. Trust in that of what's coming forward for you, because in trusting in that is going to allow for you to really stand in the beauty and the uniqueness that is you. There you go. So that was one of my kids I was trying to call, so I need to call him back because I know where he is right now. But thank you, everybody. And thank you for those who've sent me $10 for 10 minutes. I'm going to do this again this afternoon. So if you're interested, let me know. And I'm going to come back on and do some more little tidbits. And if I do have your astrology chart, I will reference it. I will look at it. I will not put it up on the internet. That's for sure. So I won't do that unless I absolutely have your permission. So on that note, I'm going to send you out so much love, and thank you for being a part of it. I will be back in a couple hours. Hello, Amber Dawn. Hello, my dear. So have a blessed one. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you, in all you say, in all you do, and all you be. Thank you so much. God bless. And the goddess bless. Let's see what kind of music. Ooh, let's do the let's just do the popping, right? We're just gonna do this.